Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to start by saying thank you for the phenomenal response to the Cadillac video the other week. That was unexpected. I think we had about 30,000 views in the first week, and loads of really nice positive comments. So thank you for that. It does blow my mind the kind of things that some people choose to log into and comment on. Don't like it, don't watch it. We have choices. But anyway, moving swiftly on. Um, we've had Justin from Iwata pop by and visit us. Unfortunately, he couldn't stay this time, but he's going to pop back, and we'll get that on the end of this video. But he's dropped off some toys for us, long-awaited toys. It was announced last year that Iwata were going to do the split nozzle technology on a primer gun, which, as you know, we like our primer, we like to get it nice. So the fact that they've come out with this split nozzle technology on the primer gun is really quite exciting for sad folk like us. The split nozzle gives just brilliant atomization, consistent atomization, which means we use less product, which is good. It means we get a flatter, smoother finish, which means we spend less time rubbing it down and we use less material rubbing it down. So it's all win-win-win. So these have just come out. They came out at the beginning of this week, which again, the way we record these is sort of 2 weeks ago. So really, really chuffed that we've managed to get these off of Justin so quickly. So what we've got here is, they do this in two versions. So we have here, identified by the blue nozzle, this is a 1.4 mil wet on wet gun. So this will apply your wet on wet primer, which we'll probably have a play with this because it's here, but with the exception, if you go back to our video on painting the truck, we don't do that kind of work. So we're not looking at laying on wet primer, which we then go straight over the top with colour. Not really what we do. And on the rare occasion we do that, the guns we have are fine for that. It's not something we do. But I know that's going to be awesome. So we will have a play as it's here. But the one that's the one that we're really going for is with the full black nozzle here. This is the high build. So everything that we use within the Nozzle range is a high build primer, be it the acrylic primer or the epoxy primer. So Nozzle for Classic Car epoxy primer, top coat primer, is a high build formula. So we're going to be playing with this, the high build gun, which comes in 1.6 and 1.8. This gun is set up as a 1.8 ready to go. And Justin's really keen for us to have a go in 1.6 as well. So we have here a fluid tip and needle for 1.6. Various different primers work in different ways. Now, I know that Iwata have yet to test this themselves with the Nozzle products. So Justin's given us this setup to find out which works best with the Nozzle high build primers, 1.6 or the 1.8, which just comes down to volume of fluid, basically. So we are anticipating and expecting getting a nice, flat, smooth primer surface. We might offset this against another gun to try and show you how that works in sort of real world. But going back to the Sebring video we did the other week with the epoxy, you could see the high textured finish in the epoxy. This gun will work fine with epoxies as well, epoxy-based materials. I think the way we're probably going to do this is we'll stick with the Gunza that we use for all our priming. We'll probably make that the epoxy gun, and this will be our top finishing gun. We're just coming for a quick close-up here, Lou. With the WBX we use, we've got the older split nozzle technology. That should be zooming in there. And you can see there the three splits in the fluid tip. And then the WS400 that we love here. We've got the four splits in the nozzle rather, for the split atomization. And just looking at the primer gun here, we've got the 3 splits atomization. So that's going to atomize the fluid, atomize the product twice. It atomizes it before it passes through the air horns here for further atomization, which means we're breaking the material down even finer, getting a smoother, finer, more consistent lay of paint. And the consistency is the key thing. A couple of points before we go into the booth. The Series 2 here, you see, comes in digital or analog. We've gone for the digital option here. And the LS, which will eventually replace our WBX, also comes with the option of a digital regulator, pressure regulator. The WS primer, only comes as a solid analog. So we will be using with that, again, keeping with Iwata pressure regulator. So that will just screw onto there in my most candid of ways there. Pressure regulator through an analog gun. The gun is actually quite small, which I was surprised at. It's smaller than a regular primer gun. I say regular, depends who you use. But if we offer the two up here, you'll be able to see there's our standard air gunzer by Iwata. And there we've got the new WSP. Incredibly lightweight as well. I mean, this isn't heavy, but the two side by side, this is a heavy, I know it's got the regulator on it, but this is a heavier gun. Very lightweight construction, smaller, nice, fits nice. Looking forward to using this. So what we're going to do is we'll set up in the booth in a minute, and we'll try this out in the 1.6 and the 1.8 and see how we feel that fares. And so we'll probably lay down some paint with the air gunzer that we've been using as well, just to give a side-by-side comparison as to how smooth and how flat this lays, which all comes down to saving time and saving material. So yeah, looking forward to cracking on, giving these a test. Okay, we're all set up, ready to go now and test these out, which we're looking forward to. For a fair test, we're going to start with a control piece, shall we call it. We're going to go in and use the air gunzer that we use, the AZ3. This is a 1.8mm tip, and this is the gun we currently use for all of our primer work. And again, to keep it all controlled, we are using Nozzle under 35500, which is Nozzle's dedicated acrylic high build. So this is purely a high build primer, and it's got some build to it. So we're going to use that in black P5. I'll go in there in a minute, and again, I'll show you as we go, but again, to keep it a fair test, set at 2-bar, full fan on all of the guns. So we'll go in now with the air gunzer, which is an Iwata product, and yeah, looking forward to this. We have our three very well used test panels here. If anyone's in the market for Jaguar XJ4 door skins with around 90 layers of paint on them, then drop us a line. But we'll set the gun up, let's say 2-bar. Okay, that's what we usually use. So, forgive the bad housekeeping, but for this purpose, I'll wash that in a minute. Right, we're going to go over now to the WPS. We're hoping this is really good. Exactly the same primer. Again, we'll set the gun up at 2-bar, full fan. This is absolutely brand new. Not used this before. Never painted with this gun. Let's see how this goes. Here we go, timber. And that was with a 1.8mm tip, fluid tip. So the air guns are 1.8 fluid tip, and that with the WPS with a 1.8 tip. Okay, we've come in to the mixer room and done a quick pit stop. We have removed the 1.8 fluid tip and needle. Hopefully that's coming in and clear. What we're now doing, same gun, we'll just swap this over now and we are running the, can't see with my glasses, 1.6. So this is a 1.6 fluid tip and needle. So we're just altering the volume of material that we're passing out here. So, same gun, same primer, same time frame, same temperature. Let's see what it does. Bar, here we go, this is the 1.6. Okay, well that was a nice quick test and didn't disappoint. So initial thoughts, this is also what we're used to. It goes on quite quick, it goes on quite heavy, it goes on quite mottled. Now that it's starting to cure, you can see the mottling, but probably see the mottling more in the fresh wet paint because you can really see with the shine. But what we'll do is once we've done this, we're going to go and we'll just run a 180 block, probably just lightly across the top, hopefully highlight the difference even more. WPS 1.8 gun, what struck me straight away is how much ground we cover quickly. I mean, it's super efficient. I've used way less material painting this than I did the first one, and it's gone on silky smooth. I mean, we're looking almost base coat quality there, out of a high build primer gun. Really nice, really easy to use, very, very impressed. And then the last one here is the 1.6, which I felt was a little bit slower, which it would be because we're putting less material through. Again, a really, really nice, smooth, flat finish. I'm not going to give too much away because we know we've got Justin coming back in a couple of days, so we'll have a chat with Justin, we'll get that on film as well, and we'll have a chat about what we feel about the product. And a quick spray out test, a fan test rather, as we've gone. It's been quite interesting. That's what we normally use, the AZ3. So you can see we've got quite a short oval fan coverage there. So that's what we're applying in our overlaps. The 1.8, I mean that's impressive. That is base gun, that's lacquer coat kind of quality fan. We come back here, we can see we're centre heavy here. We can see it's quite heavy in there, and then the outer edges we're starting to fan out. Whereas if we go back to this, and this is where the split nozzle comes in, that is a consistent fan. You know, that's really impressive. That width of fan and that consistency with the spray out over at the edge there. And then with a 1.6, as you can see, not quite as high a fan because we're working through a smaller fluid tip. But again, it's consistent. It's a little bit centre heavy here, but we've got nice consistent coverage the rest of the way out. So yeah, really, really impressed, which to be fair, we expected to be. Nice and light as well, and it does make a bit of a difference. You know, your fluid pot is your fluid pot. You've got 600 ml there on ounce of fluid, so it's always going to be heavy. But a nice small light gun, yeah, we're impressed. So as I say, we'll run a 180 over the top just to kind of highlight what sort of finish we're getting with these, and we'll get Justin in, have a chat. Okay, so before we run a block over the prime panels, I thought we're just going to come back to our fan test here and explain as to what this actually means in the real world and why the consistency of the atomisation and the laying down of the paint matters. As we said here, we've got a centre heavy area in this oval of paint. And what that means is, apologies for the artistic flair here, that's our panel. We're spraying this down. Where we've got a centre heavy, okay, so there's the paint gun. Excuse the crudeness of the drawing. That's the paint gun we're painting down onto the panel. What we're going to do is we're going to lay primer, essentially, is going to be like that. So that's our centre heavy bit, and then it thins out towards the outer fan. Then we come over with our second pass with our 75% overlaps. So we'll end up with essentially laying our paint like this. So at all times we're going to have this wavering layer of paint, which is fine because we come back and we block that flat. That's what we're talking about in terms of material saving and effort saving. So that's essentially what we're laying out of a regular standard nozzle, fluid tip. The importance with the split nozzle is if we do this again, and we've got our rather crude gun here with a split nozzle technology. As we're painting out of here, I mean the evidence is here is what we're laying, essentially, it's probably not that, we are laying that. Then with our 75% overlap and our consistency, we're laying that. And then we do that. So what we're actually doing with this gun and the high build, when we block it, we're refining not only the panel but the primer that we just laid down. We need this to be flat. Here we've already got a nice flat, consistent. I mean the key here really is consistent more than flat. Because it's such a big fan, it corrects any mistakes, any wavers. You would have seen in the video there that I'm not a machine, so as I'm coming across, I think it was with the AZ gun, you could see on the swage of the panel, as I'm coming across, I've deviated slightly. I'm not a robot, this moves. So this would correct any of those deviations because it's laying a consistent flat layer all the way across on the overlap. So just thought before we block it, we'd explain more as to what the fan tests here are showing us. I mean, this is what Iwata claim, and this proves that what they claim is what happens. So we thought we'd just do that quickly, and we'll go on now. We'll give these a quick block down, and then we'll have a chat with Justin. Okay, panels outside now, inside, outside. We're going to do a uniform test with this again. 180 Abrinet. Let's do a quick plug really. Pinky's blocks, awesome blocks, great extraction, nice and flat, comfortable. Gavin Pinksy man for those. So what we're going to do is 3 passes with a 180 block and just see what the difference is as we go down on the panels. This is the AZ3, and you could probably pick out, hopefully Lou, you'll see, you can see exactly what we were talking about in the booth actually. You can see the stripes in it. Hopefully they're coming out. And that's where we're talking about the centre heaviness within the overlap. If you come down here, this is the 1.8. This is a 1.8 WPS. And that is as flat and as smooth as you like. There's no heavy areas, there's no dry areas. That's just a consistent, smooth finish. And the same down here on the 1.6. So before we even lay a block to this, we can see the benefit because we've got consistency. So hopefully this doesn't fall flat on our face. 3 passes with this, and we'll see where we're at. Obviously I'd normally be extracting, but I'm not expecting a big cloud dust here. Right, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go a bit more because this is let's go all the way down the panel. You can see we're making this up as we go along. And of course I haven't got a cloth there, do I? So again, as we've just gone down that, we can see the peel in it, and we can see clearly where the fan pattern has laid the primer. Right then, for Iwata's sake, let's hope this works and shows what we want it to show. So, I'm just going to work all the way along. We'll throw the number count out the window. Right, what I can see here, that is from the spray out of the panel we did before. We'd sectioned this panel up to prove something else with a lacquer coat. So, right, we'll just run along that. And you can see there are low areas in this panel, but they're so sporadic that that's not gun related. That is indentations and waffles within the panel. These aren't prepped panels, these are just flat panels. So virtually no texture or peel in there, and we don't have any tram lines. If you compare that to the AZ3, bear in mind, let's say we have primed these from left to right. So any spray pattern defect will be longitude. These are sporadic low points in that panel. So that has actually proven exactly what we wanted to prove. Consistency, smooth, easy lay down, no build of texture, a really nice, flat, smooth panel, or smooth lay down of primer, should I say. These panels have had a life, as we explained earlier. So here we go, exactly the same there with the 1.6. There's no left to right tram lines in that panel whatsoever. It's just showing the lows, the random lows, almost car park dents I suppose, that are within this door skin. So I think that's proven our point really, or rather proven Iwata's point. So we best have a chat with the man himself now and draw some conclusions.
Go.
Are you recording now, are you?
We are, yeah.
Excellent. So we're in the editing. Right, we've got Justin back with us now. Thank you for coming down, mate, and thank you for leaving us with your guns last week.
Yeah, okay, so this is WSP, the primer gun, as we know.
WSP.
Not WPS.
Just spent the entire video calling it WPS. No idea why.
Yeah, so last time I wanted to drop them off. I value your opinion.
Thank
You've
you.
been doing it a while, doing a great job. And I didn't want to give any preconceived idea about the gun, just say try it, see what you think. And obviously within the video you've got lots of things
We've tried it and yeah.
going on. You've been pleased with it, it's working.
So pleased, in fact, that part of the reason Justin's here today is we just gone ahead and bought and ordered. So a plug for TCP while we're here, look. Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks for bringing that up.
Thank you for ordering. So you've gone with a 1.8.
We're going for the 1.8,
Yeah.
dedicated high build,
Yeah.
because we don't do enough wet or wet. So
No, it's not
yeah.
remit, is it? So
not at all, but it's just, yeah, another awesome product.
it worked for you. Obviously it explains in the video what you've done. You've looked at fan patterns, you've looked at structure. Obviously this has got the split nozzle technology like we talked about before with WS Series 2 LS. So it's breaking the product up, it's atomizing it twice, the structure is finer, it's flatter, and you found that out for yourself.
Yeah, working with the primer, you can really see that in action.
Okay.
With clear coats and so on, you see that in the finished result. With the primer, you see it as it's going down. It's lovely. In fact, since we've recorded the previous sessions, Luke's gone in and used it in anger with the Sebring outside there.
Right.
He's now primed the whole car with it, and if he wants to shout in from behind the camera there, it's just so easy to use. Like, you know, it was
Absolutely, it was just effortless.
It was night and day. It was
Effortless putting it on and effortless blocking it, taking it off as well.
Well, as I was saying to you
Brilliant.
earlier, that he's blocked the entire car down in half a day with a 320 grade as opposed to 180. It's just, it's a small car, mind, but just lovely. We'll chuck some footage over the top of this of the primer going onto the car, but.
So this is basically changed the process. It's saved time on flatting and it's saved abrasive paper.
Yeah, and product.
Taken the process out.
Yeah.
Okay.
On that one.
Oh, it works.
It works. No, it's we are blown away. It really was such a different.
It's genuine, isn't it? Because you don't get blown away easily, do you?
No, it takes some.
Don't get impressed with little bits and
It was
pieces.
the easiest gun you've ever sold me, and you won't even hear it.
Done something right.
Yeah, it really was brilliant.
Thank you very much. We are getting good feedback out there. I mean, it's only been out now since, in the UK, the 13th of January, so yeah, early days.
What are we now? 23rd of January, so early days, but it's, go buy a gun now. It's
from your nearest stockist.
Yeah. If you're in the trade, it's brilliant. Yeah. You know, it's. I think we did kind of mention this in the footage prior to this. Got to mention that the AZ that we use, there is a price difference here. You are paying for it. The AZ is a super gun.
The AZ3 was your primer gun, which you have now.
Yeah, and it's certainly not going in the drawer. We'll be using that for all of our epoxy work still because it's a fantastic gun. It really lays down a nice coat of paint. And yeah, we're still a big fan of that gun. But to use that, it just goes up. I mean,
try this on epoxy as well. You've tried it on a high build.
We've tried it on the high build. The boys are actually masking up a Porsche right now in the booth as we speak, which is going to go into Noble's hybrid epoxy. And because we love this so much, we don't want to put it down. I think that the AZ3 will probably become the epoxy gun, but for the immediate, I think we'll be using that for that as well.
Okay. So, no, thank you very much. Thank you for trying it. Thank you for buying. It's a great new product on the market, and it's the split nozzle we've now been able to include into the primer gun that it's taken the market by storm.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. And it deserves to. It's awesome.
So wet on wet wise, I know you don't do a lot here, but wet on wet is a very important coat. It's the first coat going on. Everything else lays on top of that, so it's got to be as flat as you can possibly make it.
Well, we are next to a commercial body shop,
Yes.
and they have shown interest in that straight away when I was having a chat with them.
Perfect.
Because, as you say, it's the first coat to go down, so everything on top of that mirrors the first coat.
I think they also bought Series 2 because you had it as well, so thank you again.
Oh, it's a pleasure. A pleasure.
No worries. Okay.
What are you going to sell us all next time?
I'm thinking on it.
Oh, no, I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. Yeah, well, I think that kind of concludes that. So again, mate, really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for your time and doing this. Appreciate that.
Well, more than welcome. So those that do this, buy that, is our message. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week with some more painting and welding.